When we think about protein, most people's minds immediately go to eggs, and for good reason. Eggs are a high-quality, complete protein source containing all 9 essential amino acids. But what if I told you there's a food with even more protein per serving than eggs, and it comes with unique compounds that directly support muscle preservation, especially after the age of 60? The loss of muscle mass with age, known as sarcopenia, is not simply a cosmetic or strength-related issue. Muscle is a powerful organ system. It influences your metabolism, regulates blood sugar, supports bone health, and even impacts cognitive function through a cascade of biochemical signals to the brain. When we lose muscle, we don't just lose strength, we lose metabolic resilience, balance, and independence. Now, the food I'm referring to here is lentils, though you could also think more broadly about other legumes like chickpeas and black beans. In 1 cooked cup of lentils, you get about 18 grams of protein. That's more protein than 3 large eggs, plus a wealth of dietary fiber, magnesium, potassium, and polyphenols, compounds with powerful anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. When people think of high protein foods, eggs often top the list. They're compact, nutrient-rich, and have long been considered one of the best sources of high-quality protein. But there's a lesser-known contender in the world of nutrition that not only matches eggs in quality, but surpasses them in quantity when it comes to pure protein per serving. This food is lentils, and just 1 cooked cup contains around 18 grams of protein. To put that into perspective, 3 large eggs provide about 17 grams. That means a single serving of lentils delivers more protein than what many consider the gold standard of protein foods, and it does so with added nutritional advantages that go far beyond what eggs can offer. This is significant for anyone who wants to improve their diet, but it becomes especially important for people over the age of 60 when maintaining muscle mass becomes more challenging. Protein is not just a building block for muscle, it's a fundamental component for enzymes, hormones, immune function, and repair of tissues throughout the body. Every day, our cells are in a constant state of breakdown and repair, and the amino acids in protein are the raw materials that make that repair possible. In aging adults, the efficiency of muscle protein synthesis begins to decline, making each gram of protein even more valuable. This is why the idea of maximizing the protein content of your meals without increasing caloric intake dramatically can make a real difference. Lentils fit this requirement perfectly. They pack a dense protein punch while also bringing in additional health benefits that are unique to plant-based sources. The protein in lentils is also accompanied by a generous amount of dietary fiber, around 15 grams per cup, something eggs have none of. Fiber plays a crucial role in digestion, blood sugar control, and cholesterol regulation. It slows the absorption of glucose into the bloodstream, which means more stable energy and less likelihood of the insulin spikes that can trigger inflammation. Stable energy is not only important for feeling good throughout the day, but also for maintaining the stamina needed to engage in regular physical activity, which is the other half of the muscle preservation equation. Beyond protein and fiber, lentils provide a host of micronutrients that further support health. They are rich in folate, which supports cell division and repair, and they contain magnesium, a mineral essential for muscle contraction, nerve function, and the creation of cellular energy through ATP. They also supply potassium, which helps maintain proper fluid balance and prevents cramping, as well as iron, which is critical for carrying oxygen to muscles and other tissues. The combination of these nutrients makes lentils a multi-dimensional food. They're not just fueling your muscles, they're also giving your cardiovascular system, nervous system, and metabolism the tools they need to perform optimally. From a practical standpoint, lentils are also remarkably easy to incorporate into a daily diet. Unlike many animal protein sources, they require no refrigeration before cooking, they're inexpensive, and they can be prepared in a variety of ways, from hearty soups to fresh salads to protein-rich spreads. This versatility means they can fit into different cuisines and dietary preferences without much effort. For older adults who may find heavy meats harder to digest, lentils offer a gentler but equally powerful protein alternative. There's also an important conversation about the sustainability of our food choices. Lentils are among the most environmentally friendly protein sources on the planet. They require less water, less land, and produce fewer greenhouse gas emissions compared to animal-based proteins. While the primary motivation for adding lentils to your diet might be health-related, knowing that your choice also benefits the planet adds an extra layer of value. The amino acid profile of lentils is another point worth noting. While they are slightly lower in certain amino acids like methionine compared to animal proteins, combining them with other plant-based sources, such as whole grains, can easily create a complete protein profile that rivals any animal source. This is particularly beneficial for those who want to limit cholesterol or saturated fat while still getting all the essential amino acids their body needs for muscle repair and growth. The fact that lentils can form the foundation of a complete protein meal makes them even more effective for supporting muscle maintenance in aging populations. Even the texture and satiety factor of lentils add to their appeal. Because they are dense and filling, They help regulate appetite, preventing overeating and supporting healthy weight maintenance. For older adults, maintaining a healthy weight is closely tied to preserving muscle mass, as excess body fat can contribute to inflammation and reduced mobility, while being underweight can accelerate muscle loss. Lentils strike a balance, providing the protein and nutrients to support lean mass without contributing to excess calorie intake. In a world where many people rely on the same few foods for their daily protein needs, discovering a source like lentils, one that exceeds eggs in protein content, brings in a wealth of additional nutrients, and offers metabolic, digestive, and environmental benefits, is an opportunity to upgrade your diet in a way that supports not only your current health, but your strength and independence in the years ahead. Muscle loss after the age of 60 is a process rooted in biology, and it's one of the most underappreciated aspects of aging. The technical term for this gradual decline is sarcopenia, and it can begin subtly, often going unnoticed until weakness, loss of balance, or reduced endurance starts to interfere with daily activities. One of the primary drivers of this process is something called anabolic resistance. This is the reduced ability of muscle tissue to respond to the anabolic or muscle building signals that are normally triggered by protein intake. When we're younger, even small amounts of protein can stimulate muscle protein synthesis effectively. However, as we age, the same amount of protein produces a weaker signal, and in some cases, barely enough to halt muscle breakdown, let alone build new tissue. This shift doesn't happen overnight. It's the result of decades of subtle changes in cellular machinery, hormonal signaling, and lifestyle habits. Mitochondrial function in muscle cells can decline, circulation may slow, and the body's inflammatory burden often increases with age, all of which make it harder for muscles to use nutrients effectively. The consequence is that the standard dietary protein recommendations, which are already designed with minimum survival in mind rather than optimal health, are often insufficient for older adults. This is where the idea of increasing both the quantity and quality of protein becomes essential. Studies consistently show that aging muscles require a larger bolus of protein at each meal to achieve the same muscle building response as a younger person. While a 25-year-old might get a robust anabolic effect from 15-20 grams of high-quality protein, someone over 60 may need closer to 30-40 grams in one sitting to reach that same threshold. This isn't just about more grams of protein per day, but rather about distributing it in a way that maximizes each opportunity to stimulate muscle synthesis. In other words, it's not enough to have a protein-heavy dinner. Each meal should contain a substantial, high-quality source of protein to repeatedly trigger the growth and repair cycle. The quality of protein matters because the body can't build muscle without the right building blocks. Proteins are made of amino acids, and some of these are considered essential because the body cannot produce them on its own. Among these, leucine plays a particularly critical role in flipping the on switch for muscle protein synthesis. Without adequate leucine, even a high total protein intake can fail to stimulate the process effectively. This is why certain foods, whether animal-based like eggs, fish, and poultry, or plant-based like soy and properly combined legumes, are more powerful than others for maintaining muscle mass. For older adults, one of the biggest challenges is that appetite often decreases with age. Illness, reduced activity levels, changes in taste perception, and even dental health can make eating enough protein difficult. This is another reason why protein-rich foods need to be prioritized. Every bite counts more. For example, instead of filling a meal with large portions of low-protein foods, structuring plates so that protein is the centerpiece helps ensure that the anabolic signal is strong enough to counteract muscle loss. Beyond diet, anabolic resistance is also influenced by activity levels. Sedentary lifestyles accelerate the decline because muscles that are not regularly challenged become less sensitive to protein's anabolic effects. Resistance training, even in modest amounts, helps reverse this by priming muscle tissue to respond more effectively to protein intake. The combination of mechanical stimulus from exercise and sufficient protein creates a synergy. The exercise increases sensitivity, and the protein provides the building materials, resulting in a stronger preservation or rebuilding effect. This understanding of anabolic resistance has shifted how nutrition and exercise are prescribed for older populations. It's no longer considered enough to suggest eat a balanced diet or stay active. The details matter: how much protein, what type, when to eat it, and how to pair it with activity. It's the precision in these habits that helps offset the biological disadvantages of aging. For example, timing a higher protein meal after a resistance workout can amplify the anabolic signal, making it stronger than what protein alone could achieve. Protein-rich diets for older adults also have additional benefits beyond muscle preservation. They help stabilize blood sugar, reduce cravings for nutrient-poor foods, and support a healthy weight. In turn, This reduces the risk of metabolic diseases like type 2 diabetes, which can further accelerate muscle loss through inflammation and insulin resistance. It's a reinforcing cycle. More muscle helps regulate metabolism, and better metabolism supports more muscle retention. Anabolic resistance might sound like an inevitable and irreversible decline, but research has shown that it can be significantly slowed or even partially reversed. Older adults who adopt a protein-focused diet and include regular resistance exercise often see measurable improvements in muscle mass, strength, and physical performance within weeks. This means that the problem isn't simply that the body can't build muscle after 60, it's that it needs a louder, clearer signal to do so, and that signal comes from giving muscles the right amount and type of protein consistently throughout the day. Pairing lentils with grains like quinoa is more than just a culinary choice. It's a nutritional strategy rooted in the science of amino acids. Proteins are made up of chains of amino acids, 9 of which are essential, meaning the body cannot make them on its own and must obtain them from food. Animal proteins such as eggs, dairy, and meat contain all 9 essential amino acids in sufficient amounts, making them complete proteins. Many plant proteins, however, are considered incomplete because they lack adequate amounts of one or more essential amino acids. This does not make them inferior. It simply means that to get the full spectrum needed for optimal muscle repair and growth, they need to be paired with complementary plant foods. Lentils are a prime example. They are rich in lysine, an essential amino acid that supports tissue repair, collagen production, and immune function. However, they are lower in methionine, another essential amino acid involved in metabolism and the initiation of protein synthesis. On the other hand, quinoa, technically a seed but often classified as a whole grain, contains more methionine but less lysine than lentils. When these two foods are eaten together in the same meal, their amino acid profiles fill in each other's gaps, resulting in a complete protein source comparable to that found in animal products. This is a form of nutritional synergy where the combination of two foods produces a greater benefit than either could alone. This combination is particularly important for people over 60 because of the phenomenon of anabolic resistance. The older body requires not just more total protein, but also a higher quality of protein to stimulate muscle protein synthesis effectively. A complete protein source ensures that all the building blocks are available to the muscle cells when needed, making it more likely that the body will use that protein efficiently for repair and maintenance. Without all essential amino acids present in sufficient amounts, the process of building new muscle tissue can stall even if total protein intake is high. Quinoa also brings its own set of benefits to the table. It is naturally gluten-free, high in fiber, and provides minerals like magnesium, manganese, and phosphorus, all of which play roles in muscle contraction, bone health, and energy production. Its slow digesting carbohydrates provide a steady supply of glucose, which muscles use for fuel during activity and recovery. Lentils complement this by providing not just protein, but also iron for oxygen delivery, potassium for muscle function, and polyphenols that help reduce inflammation. The end result is a meal that supports muscle health, energy stability, and overall metabolic balance. From a practical standpoint, pairing lentils and quinoa is simple and versatile. They can be combined into warm salads, soups, or grain bowls, seasoned in countless ways to match different cuisines. For example, a Mediterranean-inspired bowl with lentils, quinoa, olive oil, herbs, and roasted vegetables provides not just complete protein, but also healthy fats and antioxidants. A spiced Indian-style lentil and quinoa stew offers a warming, comforting dish with the same nutritional completeness. Because both lentils and quinoa cook relatively quickly compared to other legumes and grains, they fit well into a daily routine without requiring hours of preparation. There's also a digestive advantage to this pairing. The fiber in lentils is largely soluble, which helps regulate blood sugar and feed beneficial gut bacteria. Quinoa's fiber is a mix of soluble and insoluble types, promoting both smooth digestion and a healthy gut environment. The gut microbiome plays a surprisingly important role in muscle health because it influences inflammation, nutrient absorption, and even hormone regulation. A healthy gut means better delivery of the amino acids from these foods to the muscle cells that need them. For older adults who are transitioning to a diet with more plant-based protein, this combination offers a way to match the quality of animal protein without relying heavily on meat, which for some may be harder to digest or less appealing. It also provides a lower saturated fat option, which supports cardiovascular health, another critical factor in maintaining mobility and independence with age. The reduced inflammation associated with plant-based eating can further protect muscle tissue from breakdown, making the pairing of lentils and quinoa a strategy with both immediate and long-term benefits. Another point worth noting is that complete protein sources from plant foods, like the lentil-quinoa combination, come with additional nutrients not typically found in large amounts in animal proteins, such as certain antioxidants and phytochemicals. These compounds help protect muscle cells from oxidative damage, which can accumulate with age and impair recovery after exercise. The anti-inflammatory effects of these foods also help maintain joint health, enabling more consistent participation in strength-building activities. By consciously pairing lentils with quinoa, older adults can ensure that every meal delivers not only the quantity of protein needed to combat muscle loss, but also the precise quality required for maximum utilization by the body. This approach helps overcome the amino acid limitations of single plant foods, turning them into a powerful muscle-preserving tool that fits seamlessly into a nutrient-dense, balanced diet. Lentils have a unique advantage when it comes to stabilizing blood sugar, and this effect extends far beyond simply helping you feel full. Blood sugar stability is critical for overall metabolic health, and it plays a direct role in protecting muscle tissue, especially as we age. When blood glucose spikes sharply after a meal, the body releases a surge of insulin to shuttle that glucose into cells for energy or storage. While this is a normal process, repeated large spikes and crashes can lead to insulin resistance over time, a state where the cells no longer respond efficiently to insulin. This condition not only increases the risk of type 2 diabetes, but also accelerates muscle breakdown by promoting inflammation and disrupting the hormonal environment that supports muscle growth and maintenance. Lentils, with their combination of plant-based protein, complex carbohydrates, and high fiber content, digest slowly and release glucose gradually into the bloodstream. This slow and steady release helps prevent the dramatic peaks and drops that stress the body's regulatory systems. The soluble fiber in lentils forms a gel-like substance in the gut, which slows down the absorption of carbohydrates and moderates the rate at which glucose enters the blood. This is beneficial not just for people managing blood sugar disorders, but for anyone looking to keep inflammation low and energy levels consistent throughout the day. Stable blood sugar also impacts the body's ability to utilize protein effectively. When glucose is well regulated, insulin can function at an optimal level, supporting amino acid uptake into muscle cells. This process is essential for muscle repair and synthesis, and it's more efficient when insulin is not chronically elevated or impaired due to resistance. For older adults whose bodies already face anabolic resistance, the importance of maintaining this balance is amplified. In other words, controlling blood sugar is not only a strategy for avoiding metabolic disease, it's also a way to make the protein you eat work harder for your muscles. Another critical factor is inflammation. Rapid changes in blood sugar are known to increase oxidative stress, which can damage cells and tissues, including muscle fibers. Chronic, low-grade inflammation, which is common in aging populations, can further interfere with the body's ability to maintain and repair muscle. Lentils counteract this in two ways: by stabilizing blood sugar and by delivering antioxidants and polyphenols that directly combat oxidative stress. These plant compounds neutralize free radicals and help modulate the body's inflammatory response, creating a more favorable environment for muscle preservation. The connection between blood sugar control and muscle health also involves hormone regulation. Excessive blood sugar fluctuations can impair the function of anabolic hormones like testosterone and growth hormone, both of which play a role in maintaining lean muscle mass. Lentils slow release carbohydrates, help keep these hormones in balance, ensuring that they can continue to support muscle tissue over time. This is particularly important for older adults, as hormone levels naturally decline with age, making it even more critical to avoid dietary patterns that further suppress them. From a practical standpoint, incorporating lentils into meals can help reduce reliance on refined carbohydrates, which are often a primary cause of blood sugar spikes. Replacing white rice, pasta, or bread with lentils or combining them with other low glycemic foods helps create a meal that provides steady energy without overwhelming the body's insulin response. This not only benefits metabolic health, but also sustains energy for physical activity, which is itself a key driver of muscle maintenance. Energy stability is especially valuable for older individuals who may experience fatigue more easily. When meals lead to a blood sugar crash a few hours later, energy levels drop, and the likelihood of engaging in exercise or other muscle-stimulating activities diminishes. By keeping energy steady, lentils indirectly support the activity levels necessary to signal the body to keep muscle tissue. In this way, their blood sugar stabilizing properties contribute to muscle preservation both directly through better nutrient utilization and indirectly by supporting consistent movement. The gut health benefits of lentils also tie into blood sugar regulation. A healthy gut microbiome plays a role in how the body processes and responds to glucose. The prebiotic fiber in lentils feeds beneficial bacteria, which in turn produce short-chain fatty acids like butyrate. These compounds help improve insulin sensitivity and reduce inflammation, creating a positive feedback loop for both metabolic and muscular health. Improved gut function means better digestion, better absorption of nutrients, and a more controlled blood sugar response to meals. By keeping blood sugar stable, reducing inflammation, and supporting insulin function, lentils provide a metabolic environment where muscle tissue is better protected from the catabolic effects of aging. This creates conditions that not only slow muscle loss, but also improve overall vitality, energy balance, and resilience against disease. Micronutrients in lentils play a central role in supporting mitochondrial energy and recovery, and their impact on muscle health becomes even more important with age. Mitochondria are the tiny power plants inside cells that convert nutrients into usable energy in the form of ATP. Every movement, from lifting a grocery bag to taking a walk, depends on the efficient function of these energy systems. As the body ages, mitochondrial efficiency naturally declines, meaning that cells produce less energy and fatigue more easily. This reduced capacity can slow muscle repair, lower endurance, and contribute to the gradual loss of strength seen in older adults. Nutrients like magnesium, potassium, and iron, which are abundant in lentils, directly feed into mitochondrial processes and help counteract these age-related changes. Magnesium is one of the most important minerals for energy metabolism because it is required for the creation of ATP itself. Every molecule of ATP in the body must be bound to a magnesium ion to become biologically active. Without enough magnesium, the body struggles to efficiently produce energy, which can lead to quicker muscle fatigue and slower recovery after physical activity. Magnesium also plays a role in muscle relaxation after contraction, preventing cramping and allowing for smoother, more coordinated movement. Lentils provide a steady source of magnesium in a plant-based form that is easily integrated into a daily diet. Potassium, another abundant mineral in lentils, is essential for proper nerve signaling and muscle contraction. Each time a muscle fiber contracts, it relies on the movement of potassium and sodium ions across cell membranes to send electrical impulses. Low potassium levels can lead to weakness, irregular muscle function, and even increased risk of injury due to poor neuromuscular coordination. In older adults, maintaining proper potassium intake is also linked to better blood pressure control and cardiovascular health, which in turn supports more consistent delivery of oxygen and nutrients to working muscles. Good circulation is critical for recovery as it allows damaged muscle fibers to receive the building blocks they need for repair. Iron is another key player found in lentils, and it has a direct connection to both energy and recovery. Iron is a critical component of hemoglobin in red blood cells, which carries oxygen from the lungs to tissues throughout the body. It is also part of myoglobin in muscle cells, which stores and releases oxygen specifically where it is needed during contraction. Without adequate iron, oxygen delivery becomes impaired, leading to early onset fatigue and reduced exercise capacity. For older adults, even mild iron deficiency can have an outsized impact, reducing activity levels and accelerating muscle decline simply because energy feels harder to sustain. Lentils contain non-heme iron, and pairing them with a source of vitamin C, such as tomatoes or bell peppers, can significantly enhance absorption, ensuring that the iron gets into the bloodstream where it can do its job. Beyond these three primary minerals, lentils also offer trace elements and antioxidants that protect mitochondrial health from damage. Free radicals generated during normal energy production can damage mitochondrial DNA and impair function over time, a process that is accelerated by aging. Polyphenols and other plant compounds in lentils help neutralize these reactive molecules, keeping the mitochondria functioning more efficiently for longer. The result is better endurance, quicker recovery, and greater resilience against the physical stress of exercise or daily activities. Mitochondrial function and recovery are closely tied to each other. After physical exertion, the repair process in muscle cells is energy intensive, requiring ATP not only for rebuilding muscle fibers, but also for driving protein synthesis and removing damaged components. If mitochondria cannot keep up with these demands, recovery slows and the risk of muscle loss increases. By consistently providing the nutrients that support energy production, lentils help ensure that recovery processes operate at full capacity, even in the face of the natural declines that occur with age. In addition to direct effects on muscle cells, the nutrient profile of lentils supports the nervous system, which controls muscle activation. Magnesium and potassium are both critical for proper nerve function, and an optimally functioning nervous system ensures that muscles fire efficiently during exercise. This not only improves performance, but also stimulates greater muscle growth, since strong, coordinated contractions send a more powerful signal to the body to maintain and build muscle tissue. For older adults aiming to preserve muscle mass, the inclusion of magnesium, potassium, and iron-rich foods like lentils in the daily diet can be a simple yet powerful intervention. These minerals work in synergy, supporting both the energy systems that power movement and the recovery systems that repair and strengthen muscles afterward. Combined with resistance training and sufficient total protein intake, they create an environment where muscles can remain strong, functional, and resistant to the fatigue and decline often associated with aging. Combining high-protein foods with resistance training is the most effective way to prevent sarcopenia, and the science behind this is clear. Sarcopenia, the age-related loss of muscle mass and strength, occurs because the signals that once told the body to build and maintain muscle become weaker with age. Protein provides the raw materials, amino acids, needed to build new muscle fibers, But without a strong enough stimulus, the body has no reason to use them for muscle synthesis. Resistance training acts as that stimulus, sending a mechanical and biochemical signal to the muscle cells that more strength and endurance are needed. When both factors are present, adequate protein and consistent mechanical load, the result is a powerful synergy that slows or even reverses muscle decline. The stimulus from resistance training works on multiple levels. At the structural level, lifting weights or performing bodyweight exercises creates micro tears in muscle fibers. These small controlled injuries are not harmful. They are the trigger that tells the body it needs to repair and strengthen the tissue. At the cellular level, resistance exercise activates satellite cells, which are specialized cells that help regenerate muscle tissue. It also upregulates the mTOR pathway, a key molecular mechanism for initiating protein synthesis. This is where dietary protein comes in. Without the amino acids to feed into this process, the repair signal cannot be carried out fully. For older adults, this combination is even more critical because of anabolic resistance, the reduced responsiveness of muscle tissue to protein intake. Resistance training helps counteract this by making muscle cells more sensitive to amino acids, meaning the same amount of dietary protein will have a stronger anabolic effect when paired with exercise. This is why timing matters. Consuming a protein-rich meal or snack within a couple of hours after resistance training can maximize the benefits, as the muscles are in a heightened state of receptivity to the nutrients. High-protein foods for this purpose can include both animal and plant-based sources. Foods like lentils, eggs, poultry, fish, dairy, and soy all provide the essential amino acids needed for muscle growth. For those relying on plant proteins, combining complementary sources, such as lentils with quinoa or beans with brown rice, ensures that all 9 essential amino acids are present in adequate amounts. This completeness is especially important for older adults, as incomplete amino acid profiles can limit the rate and extent of muscle repair. Resistance training does not have to mean lifting heavy barbells or spending hours in a gym. Simple bodyweight exercises like squats, push-ups, and step-ups, or resistance band movements can be highly effective when done consistently. The key is progressive overload, gradually increasing the resistance, repetitions, or intensity over time to continue challenging the muscles. Even short sessions of 20-30 minutes, performed 2 to 3 times per week, can produce significant improvements in strength and muscle mass when paired with a protein-rich diet. Beyond muscle size, the combination of protein and resistance training has benefits for muscle quality. Muscle quality refers to the strength and functional capacity of the muscle relative to its size. With aging, muscle tissue can accumulate fat and connective tissue that reduce its efficiency. Resistance training helps maintain muscle density and improve neuromuscular coordination, while protein supports the structural integrity of the muscle fibers. Together, they help preserve not only the appearance of muscle, but its functional power, the ability to carry groceries, climb stairs, or rise from a chair without assistance. Another benefit of this approach is the positive effect on bone health. Resistance training stimulates bone remodeling, while protein provides the building blocks for collagen, the structural framework of bone tissue. Maintaining strong muscles and bones together reduces the risk of falls and fractures, which are major health concerns for older adults. This holistic benefit makes the combination of protein and resistance training a cornerstone strategy for healthy aging. The metabolic benefits are equally important. Muscle tissue is metabolically active, meaning it burns calories even at rest. Preserving muscle through protein and resistance training supports a higher resting metabolic rate, which helps regulate body weight and improves blood sugar control. This reduces the risk of metabolic disorders such as type 2 diabetes, which can accelerate muscle loss through inflammation and insulin resistance. For recovery, the interaction between protein and resistance training continues to play a role. After exercise, muscle fibers need to repair, and this process is energy intensive. Adequate protein ensures that repair happens quickly and effectively, while the act of exercising itself improves blood flow, delivering nutrients to the muscles more efficiently. This creates a feedback loop where training makes protein more effective and protein supports better adaptation to training. Incorporating both elements into daily life is not complicated but requires intention. Structuring meals to include high-quality protein sources and setting aside time for consistent resistance training can transform how the body ages. This dual approach addresses the 2 main drivers of muscle loss: insufficient anabolic signaling and inadequate raw materials, giving the body every reason to keep muscle tissue strong, functional, and metabolically active well into later years.